All right, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Monday morning. The sun is shining. The temperature's still kind of cold, but that's okay. As long as the sun's shining, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to start up my computer and get going this way so that I can see when you post on Facebook. So there we are. All right, good morning, everybody. There we go. There we go. All right. Well, good to go. So today, Monday, February 10th, it is first and foremost, I'm going to go with the news that everybody is talking about, which of course is the Super Bowl. If you watched it, I certainly watched the Super Bowl, and I have to say that it was a little bit surprising, to be quite honest. I thought I honestly thought it was going to be a low scoring game. I certainly wanted to see a little bit more from Kansas City. However, you know what? Just did not happen, right? I'm not a broadcaster, so I'm not even going to talk about trying to pretend that I can go play by play with the Super Bowl. But I do have my New Orleans mug today for the Super Bowl. New Orleans, certainly. Place of rich history, and that's where Super Bowl 59 was today. So, Philadelphia Eagles, congratulations! They did it again. Of course, both of the teams were Super Bowl not Super Bowl winners, and the Eagles really had a strong game. Enjoying watching it, 40-22 over the over the Kansas City Chiefs. Second Super Bowl title in New Orleans. So, who was the MVP? Jalen Hurts led the charge with an MVP-worthy performance, throwing for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns and 72 rushing yards. I have to say the Eagles' defense was amazing. So certainly that was it was really great, to be quite honest. I have to say it was a fun game to watch, and they kept the Chiefs at a 0 for the first half. It was pretty, like I said, pretty amazing. But certainly it was a good game to watch. Um, there was no three-peat for the Chiefs, and minimal sightings of Taylor Swift, believe it or not. So that is just the talk of the day. But I do want to put in that there is an Aurora connection with the Super Bowl. 13-year-old Aiden Zwick of Aurora is a liver transplant recipient, and they got to get the experience of a lifetime this Super Bowl weekend. So, those of us we have talked about Make-A-Wish Foundation, not often, but we do. Make-A-Wish Foundation just grants wishes. It's a wonderful organization, and this time around, 13-year-old Aiden Zwick of Aurora got his wish to experience the Super Bowl this weekend. So this is Make-A-Wish's 45th anniversary celebration. Aiden joined 18. Believe it or not, though, the special journey for him began on Wednesday and ended with Sunday's big game. So it's just amazing. The Make-A-Wish Foundation collaborated with Fanatics, the NFL, and other partners, and these young people from 9 different states experienced a amazing Super Bowl weekend. So really, truly, I can't say enough about the Make-A-Wish Foundation and about what they did for Jalen. Now, on the Facebook pages as well, we also have certainly a lot of great moments with regards to, but if you look, Philadelphia Eagles rookie Trevor Keegan is a Crystal Lake native and was voted #1 football player in Illinois. And I can't tell you if he made an appearance at the Super Bowl or not. I was just watching the game in total, but he is alumni of Crystal Lake District 47, attended Glacier Ridge Elementary and Bernodas Middle School, as well as Crystal Lake South High School in District 155. So he is number 79 and a left guard for the Philadelphia Eagles, who are champions of the Super Bowl. So certainly we have a couple Illinois connections with the Super Bowl this time around, which I thought was really cool. I wanted to share that with you. So certainly a lot of fun yesterday watching the game. So what is today? Today is February 10th. 2025. But there are, believe it or not, national holidays that you might not know about. So if you notice, today I am wearing a flannel because today is National Flannel Day. So did you know there's been more than 400 years since flannel was first created? National Flannel Day is a day dedicated to one of the most popular pieces of fabric, flannels. Many people wear fancy flannel clothes. They come up with different shapes, sizes, styles of the flannel. So yesterday, Super Bowl. Yesterday was National Pizza Day. So hopefully you're eating pizza yesterday for the Super Bowl. Today is National Flannel Day. So hopefully break out that flannel. Certainly it'll be warm today because the weather is still a bit on the cold side. So National Clean Out Your Computer Day. How many people have this issue? I know some of I do. Look at your computer. It's always the second Monday in February, the perfect time to do some reorganization done. If you haven't already, cleaning your computer, clean it outside, clean up all the junk, the spam, whatever you need to clean up. Certainly clean out your computer. National Clean Out Your Computer Day. I can't always, these are national. So that means that someone in Congress passed this resolution. National Umbrella Day. So Dolly Parton once said that if you want the rainbow, you've got to put up with the rain. But how do you put up with it? For generations, it's got to be the umbrella. As part of many cultures, really since ancient times, well beyond the flannel. Umbrellas has certainly a history worth commemorating. So certainly if you're interested, look up National Umbrella Day. And then I know this is a fun day for everybody. Gotta share this. National Oatmeal Day, popularly known as Meal Monday, is again celebrated the second Monday in February, and this year again is observed right here on this Facebook Live, February 10th. Started as a university holiday in Scotland over 300 years ago. So Scotland was way before us. The meal is celebrated for a good reason. They are fast to whip up, highly nutritious, and a great source of energy. Oatmeal is great for, I like all sorts of things on my oatmeal. And so, berries, fruits, nuts, brown sugar is always the best. Put a little bit of cream in there, and it's wonderful. People also eat cold oatmeal. I don't, but other people do. I like it super hot. Almonds, milk, you name it. And there are over 800 different ways oats can be made, and the meal has been there for many individuals. Late at night, gotta do something quick, especially how it started as a university holiday in Scotland. I know many university students eat it sometimes in the middle of the night when you got nothing else in your house. Oatmeal it is. So I wanted to bring that to you. So good morning, Roger. Roger's on the Facebook page. Good morning, Erica. And good morning to everybody watching on this Facebook Live. Or if you're tuning in to Spotify, Coffee with Kiffy certainly is on Spotify. So you can listen to this anytime you want to. One of the things I love to watch, I have to say, I love to watch the Westminster Kennel Club dog shows. So it's wrapping up. It was on February 8th, and now it's the 10th to the 11th. But those dogs they have so much fun, and they're so fun to watch on this annual dog show. And they do agility and obedience, and dogs come from all backgrounds. They're able to compete. Westminster Week has nearly 3,000 dogs from the US and around the world. So it's for any dog lover. And you know what? If you just need to watch something besides, news and you don't really want to watch a show, I gotta tell you, you gotta tune into the dog show. It's just a lot of fun, and these dogs are having the time of their lives. And there's this one little Frenchie that was just excited to just run all around. It's really cute. Also this week, it goes till February 17th is the Chicago Auto Show. So if you're a car enthusiast, the McCormick Place has nearly 1,000 vehicles, domestic, international, on display. Believe it or not, the Chicago Auto Show started in 1901. It's now 117th edition, the longest running and largest auto exhibit in North America. So it certainly is extremely fun. I know a lot of my friends went to First Glance, which was a charity that the auto show raises money for many good charities on Friday. So that kicks it off. I wasn't able to go this year. I went last year. But certainly, if you have time this year, it goes till February 17th. It's by the Chicago Automobile Trade Association. And again, certainly been a lot of fun and definitely a great time. So, Chicago Automobile Trade Association has been running the show since 1935. Now, if you make your way to the auto show, the Secretary of State is actually there with a space. First time I've ever known of this. So, certainly, Secretary of State Alexei Janulius will be at the auto show. And, if you go to the auto show, you can update your identification, renew your vehicle registration, engage in family-friendly activities. So certainly it's going to be really fun. So Real ID issuance. You can apply for a Real ID at the Secretary of State's booth without needing an appointment. You need to have all your paperwork in a row. So make sure if you're going to go to the auto show and you want to get your Real ID while you're there, make sure you have all your paperwork. Or you can make an appointment regularly. Driver's license, ID renewals, vehicle services, like I said, stickers, and organ tissue donor registration. So certainly we want everybody to be safe on the roads. If something detrimental, horrible happens, you can save a life by donating organs and tissues to an individual. There is on Saturday, February 15th, author Dwayne Reed will present at the booth for readings and signings there at the Secretary of State's booth. And then K9 officer visit Loki. The Secretary of State's K9 officer will make an appearance between Mr. Reed's sessions, providing fun experience for families and kids. Again, required documentation, make sure you bring it. And the booth hours are from 10 a.m. to 8:45, except February 11th closes at 5:30. And February 17th closes at 7:45. So certainly you can go there. February 12th, Lincoln's birthday. We all know about Lincoln. Happy birthday, Mr. Lincoln. He was actually born in Kentucky, then moved to Illinois in 1830 and made it his home. We know his political career. If you don't know his political career, you should look it up. There's a lot to be known there. He lived with the family there in Springfield before becoming president. Now, Springfield is home of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. So, Illinois officially observed Lincoln's birthday as a state holiday on February 12th until 2017, closing state offices and school. It's no longer a state holiday, but we encourage everybody in school, teachers, everybody in Illinois to look up Lincoln and all that he did. The land of Lincoln appears on Illinois' license plates and other official state items. So certainly check it out. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Besides honoring a loved one through holidays, flowers, cards, chocolate, whatever you do on February 14th. It's interesting that everybody has talked about, everybody I know, but most people might not know the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which is not a really great thing to talk about in Chicago, but notorious gangster history. And if you go to the Mob Museum in Las Vegas, yes, I go to Las Vegas and I go to the museums and the shows more than I do the gambling, I gotta tell you. But if you go to the Mob Museum, they actually have the wall which the St. Valentine's Day Massacre occurred on, which was February 14th, 1929. It was on Chicago's North Side. 7 men associated with George Bugs Moran's gang were lined up against a garage wall and shot by men believed to be working for Al Capone. Though Capone was never charged with the crime, the incidents became one of the most famous episodes of Prohibition-era gang violence. Now, the building was at 2122 North Clark Street in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood. It's been demolished, so it's gone. But the wall that this happened at, again, is in the Mob Museum. Sometimes the site is still visited by tourists interested in Chicago's gangster history. The massacre actually helped bring national attention to Chicago's gang violence problem and contribute to the federal government's increased efforts to take down organized crime like Capone. So, certainly a little bit of a dark connection to what's typically a romantic holiday remains one of the most well-known historical events that occurred on Valentine's Day in Illinois. So just wanted to give you that little tidbit of information. So this week we are not in Springfield, but certainly filed a lot of bills. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about legislation that I'm working on. Certainly will hopefully advance them all. Some of the bills advanced and went into the Senate, so I'm refiling them. That's what we have to do. So we pretty much, military service members, I think I might talk about this. What happens is when you calculate military leave for service members, what they would do is count days instead of shifts. So certainly, if you work the overnight shift, you're working from Monday to Tuesday, and when you count days, that's 2 days instead of just one shift. So certainly, it reflects how we actually operate. But this distinction really makes sure that individuals get fair compensation regardless of when their shifts fall or how long they are. So if an individual works maybe a half a day shift, they're only going to get reimbursed for half a day instead of a full shift. So it's certainly an update that's needed with regards to our service members and fair compensation. So I have a bill for higher ed faculty time tracking update. So streamlining how they track their work time. Faculty members and those not eligible for overtime just can file their contractual terms for time reporting instead of filling out traditional timesheets. Believe it or not, there are still places that had traditional timesheets. Those of you that know individuals in the higher ed teaching profession understand the unique nature of academic work. So they just follow their contract terms. I know it sounds simple. As I've said before, we have simple laws that need to be done because and they still have paper time cards. It's not. So one of the bills that we introduced last year, it got filed, it got passed out of the House, did not go anywhere in the Senate, was pension payments for state employees. So what we're having now is an issue where the system pretty much won't give a retiree a paycheck for like 3 months because they are claiming that they are working to make sure that the correct payment was calculated and sent out. Other systems such as TRS for teachers, they have an estimated system, works very well. They start making payments right away. If an adjustment needs to be made, they just adjust it slightly. It's worked out well. For some reason, for state employees, this state employee system, SERS, does not do that. And sometimes individuals would not get a retirement paycheck for 3 months, sometimes 6 months. And it's really frustrating and really causes a lot of stress. So it's a bill. Payments would start within 30 days of retirement. If adjustments need to be made, they can be handled within the 6 months. Filing again, mental health support for youth in care. So every child in DCFS care deserves proper mental health support. So what this just says is that once a youth unfortunately gets into the DCFS care system, they're assigned a mental health provider within 30 days of entering the system. They get regular checkups and assessments for as long as they're in care. This is so that no child falls through the cracks. It's very stressful, for lack of a better word, for a child to be removed from the home that they've known their whole life, even if it is dysfunctional or abusive, and to be put in the care of complete strangers. DCFS. So it's got to be taxing on their mental health, and we need to make sure that it's there. Certainly, we're looking again, dental care for veterans. So it's a 5-year pilot program starting January 2026 that will help veterans access affordable dental care through local dentists, making up to 300% of the federal poverty level. So this is a bill that we're looking at to try to get into place for our veterans. Veteran Services Task Force. This was a task force. It was the Veteran Service Related Ailments Task Force, and they did a great job. And actually, the individuals of the task force wants to tackle broader veterans issues, and certainly they want to be retooled and they want to continue to work. And individuals that are motivated to be on a task force to continue is, I think, admirable. And so they're asking for another 2 years till December 2026 to see how we are doing. And then looking at benefits with regards to SNAP. SNAP is Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, and looking at our veterans and active service members by making it easier for families to access this program. Their income is at or below 200% of the poverty guidelines. So really, it certainly helps our military families to have reliable access to healthy foods. And then, so those are some of the good bills that are coming up. If you're on our email list, talking about the VAERS Act, this was funded by State Representative Bob Morgan. It would revolutionize how public funding for sports stadiums is allocated, cleverly named the Bears Stadium Oversight Act. They're looking at a professional sports team that would need to improve their worth on the field before accessing taxpayer dollars. Teams must achieve a .500 or better record in at least 3 out of 5 regular seasons to qualify for public funding for stadium construction, renovation, and maintenance. Seeing just how people believe with regards to that. Speaking about the Bears, but not always about the Bears, but online sports betting. So record gaming revenue in Illinois, Super Bowl betting. If you bet on the Super Bowl or anything, certainly make sure that you're doing it on a platform that is regulated and that is safe. The Illinois Gaming Board reported an impressive $1.7 billion in gaming tax revenue for 2024. Of that, state taxes reached 1.545 billion, and local taxes contributed nearly 270 million locally. So the state has 16 licensed casinos, 8,700 video gaming terminals, and 14 operating sports books throughout Illinois. So the Super Bowl just happened, and certainly we want individuals to be responsible gambling. Stay within your limits, only wager with approved Illinois licensees. Unlicensed operators may represent their services and could be a risk. So certainly that's something to always continue now that we're out of football season, heading into the other seasons. Certainly important. And by the way, I tried to watch rugby the other day on TV. I really can't understand it. It looks like a really fun sport, but everybody looked beat up at the end. It was quite the experience to watch a bit of rugby on TV. But going back to gambling, the Illinois Gaming Board approved some casino developments, including the renewal of Harrah's Metropolitan Casino license and ownership transfers connected to the Bally's Corporation merger. It affects, the DraftKings at Casino in East St. Louis, Bally's Chicago Casino, and Bally's Quad County Casino and Hotel in Rock Island. Certainly, if you need gambling support, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text GAMB to 833-234. That's an easy number to remember. Certainly, you can go to the Illinois Gaming Board website as well to verify legal sportsbook and learn about programs. So we are off this week. I have more bills. I just highlighted a couple bills that are on my docket. I'll highlight a couple more bills next Monday that we're working on. So we're off this week, back in Springfield next week. So hopefully we will have committees up and running and being able, we've a bit behind the Senate since I've already been having some committee meetings, but certainly hopefully get to work with regards to that. So a couple information segments, bird flu advisory. The bird flu really is taken off. Canada geese has been most affected by the outbreak. Wildlife biologists actively monitoring the situation. Testing is underway in 16 locations through northern Illinois. If you see any unusual bird deaths, please call the Department of Natural Resources or even the Department of Public Health or the Department of Ag. They are all three working together with this situation. Avoid handling sick or dead birds, keep pets away from affected areas, which is really hard if you're like, well, my dogs, and if there was a dead bird, they'd run right to it and play with it like a toy. But follow posted park and wildlife area advisories. So certainly, it's really important to look, especially if you see multiple dead birds together. There's always one or two around, but multiple dead birds is really important. So to be on the lookout with regards to that. The Illinois Retail Merchants Association stated that retail has a massive impact on our state economy. So the industry directly contributes over $112 billion annually. That's about 10% of Illinois' GDP. So the largest private sector employer, retail provides jobs to 1.3 million people, or 1 in 4 Illinois workers, and they generate $7.3 billion in tax revenue annually. If you want to look at it, IRMA, the Illinois Retail Merchants Association, has a new campaign. We are retail spotlights independent retailers statewide through various media channels. So just want to tell you, it's still important, even though it's not Shop Local Saturday, it's always important to shop local in your community. When you do so, sales taxes stay in your community. The state gets sales taxes from that. When you order things online, not always the case. So certainly shop local. And when you shop local, you're supporting people's jobs. You're supporting the checkout person, the stockers, everybody in that job. Certainly that's a big deal. And talking about jobs and businesses, there are some programs from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity that is available now. There are 5 or 6 programs. I'm not going to read them all, but you can go on their website. But we have a business attraction prime sites program. There are some matching programs, economic development program, disaster response programs, Illinois Reproductive Health Facilities Capital Grant Program, and a federal grant match program as well. So you can go to DCEO Funding Opportunities website for more information with regards to that. So it's pretty much on the statewide level. One of the things I just want to talk about quickly is K-Cups. Now, we still do, you can recycle K-Cups. You can hollow them out, you can recycle the coffee pods, and you can actually put the K-Cups into your own recycling landfill, but they have to be cleaned out and ready to go. What my office has been doing since actually I've been in office is helping to recycle K-cups. Now, we ask individuals to drop off K-cups. We did have a situation where an organization was dropping off a lot of K-cups, and it's certainly not quite what it's for. It's for just individual people, but K-cup pods can end up in landfills. And so what the program is we box them up, send them to an organization that does just what I said. They recycle the cups and then they use the coffee grounds for fertilizer. So if you want to be environmentally responsible, there is a recycling program. My office contributes to that as well. But you can recycle on your own, or you can drop off at my office, and we will recycle them and send them away to be recycled. Black History Month, the city of Aurora has a African American chamber, or not chamber, but a commission that does award scholarships. So there is a event, the 19th annual Aurora African American Heritage Advisory Board dinner on February 28th. You can go to the Aurora's website and look that out. Certainly high schoolers are available for the Henry Coward Scholarship Opportunity. So students in Aurora with a minimum 2.5 GPA can apply for this award. The application deadline was in January, so January 20th. So you've missed the application deadline, but the winners will be recognized at the dinner. So certainly it's a great dinner. I've gone there before. I've actually knew Henry Coward before he passed away. Very interesting and wonderful. Him and his wife were just wonderful people. So if you have nothing to do on February 28th and want to go to this wonderful dinner, you can visit the Aurora African American Heritage Advisory Board dinner on the 28th. If you happen to be in downtown Aurora, the GAR, the Aurora's Grand Army of the Republic Military Museum, they have a new exhibit called The War on Two Fronts that has opened. Its opening night was February 8th. So it shines a light on the contributions of African American soldiers who fought battles both abroad and at home during America's conflicts. So the exhibit explores how brave service members not only helped secure critical military victories, but simultaneously waged another vital campaign, which is to fight for civil rights on American soil. Carefully curated artifacts and photos, visitors can discover this pivotal chapter in our nation's history. So certainly it's wonderful. And then there's a clock exhibit going up in the Historical Museum, which is roughly just down the street from them, which looks like it's going to be a very fun exhibit as well. That's the Aurora Historical Society. Now, my district covers Kane, Kendall, Will, and DuPage. So in Will County, there was a little bit of an issue, not necessarily in my area, more in the Lockport area, so it doesn't really affect our area whatsoever, but this is a little bit of lets you know how things work. There is an election dispute of the race to April 1st election, which, by the way, April 1st is election. There is a primary in Aurora in February for a couple seats. I think the mayor's seat in I believe that's it. It has a primary. And then in other areas, because I do have Aurora, Naperville, Oswego, and Montgomery, please look at who's on the ballot and know your voting dates. The primary is in February, the general is April 1st. So there's been some issue. Apparently, Will County, there's a race to individuals to be reinstated into the ballot after being removed for unpaid fines. Apparently, there's 2 township candidates. Oh, and actually an Aurora Aldermanic candidate too, that were disqualified after failing to meet the State Board of Elections January 23rd deadline for paying outstanding campaign fines. Interesting. Aurora Aldermanic candidate Giovanni Santana was removed for unpaid fines, working to resolve the issue. And so then we have candidate Kevin Collins, Headmark, Lockport Township Highway Commissioner, Cesar Guerrero Township Supervisor say their local Democratic precinct committee persons have voted to nominate them to fill the vacancies left by the removal. However, their return to the ballot may ultimately be decided by a Will County judge. So, long and short, the judicial system is pretty much a checks and balance for a lot of things. So certainly that is really important. And so Will County Clerk's Office is standing firm on the candidate's removal and election law, leaving little room for reinstatement after this deadline. So it's still in the courts, but bottom line, pay your fines if you're gonna run for office. So certainly that's some big issues there. So on the national level, we've been working with quite a few things, and certainly and I've said this before, and I did make a mention of this in my email, if you are on the email list. On the national level, there's a lot of executive orders going around. The checks and balances are, regardless of what people are now saying, the checks and balances that yes, the judges and the court system do have the right to check the constitutionality of a presidential's power. That's fundamental to our government. I can't believe I was watching the news and an individual was saying that how dare a federal government cross-check the powers of the executive branch. Yes, that is their role. If you start believing that that is not their role, we will have serious problems with regards to our fundamental setup. Our fundamental founding fathers set up this system of checks and balances because, to be quite honest, they never wanted to have the United States to have a king. Similar to that in England. So we have this fundamental checks and balances with regards to the federal government checks the executive branch, or the federal judges checks the executive branch, and they also check the Congress. The Congress makes the law, the judicial system interprets the law. The executive branch is supposed to follow the law. So what we have here is a situation from the federal government of executive orders that conflict, that confuse, and certainly causes some individuals a lot of issues, and one of those was Medicaid funding. The federal government is set up so that, a little bit different from the state, but that Congress controls where the money is spent. The president is supposed to follow that law, so they pass the law, they pass the budget, and so the president, through an executive order, stopped funding for Medicaid services, and there's a lot that goes into Medicaid, which is a program for poor people, so that they get health and they get assistance. I believe we should still be a country of compassion. A lot of people are not compassionate these days. They would rather see, in some instances, unfortunately, they'd rather see people perish than to get food and nutrition and support. I mean, the U.S. aid, I've known people, I've gotten emails from individuals that say, look, my son, my daughter, my husband works for USAID, has worked for USAID, has been involved with USAID, and the things that are going around are lies. Unfortunately, USAID, for some reason, has been targeted, mostly targeted because people don't believe that the U.S. should help other people in the world. We have the ability to help these people, but even though we have the ability to help these people, we should not, which would lead people to die. So here in our world of Illinois, a lot of things happened. The Medicaid system pretty much was shut down. Nonprofits, a lot of organizations access the funding from the Medicaid system. It's not just healthcare per se, but other services as well. So what we found under the Ronner administration, when we had the budget impasse, the 2.5 year budget impasses, the state could not pay the Medicaid bills on time. And we had horrific consequences to residents, to loved ones here in the state of Illinois. One story that came to light was a child that was on oxygen, needed 24-hour oxygen, and the oxygen provider called the sheriff, and they were going to repossess the oxygen from the child due to lack of payment, and the child would die. Luckily, of course, the state came in and we were able to work things out, and the child did not die. But there are a lot of our Medicaid is for the vulnerable around us. And believe it or not, a lot of Medicaid goes to children, and goes to individuals with disabilities, it goes to frail elderly. A very small portion of it goes to individuals who are able-bodied and not working. I know that's a narrative, but it's not true. So the bulk of it goes to children, goes to frail elderly, and goes to individuals with disabilities. So a lot of uninsured individuals are looking at that through the Affordable Care Act. We expanded Medicaid in 2014. 900,000 Illinoisans were able to access health insurance through the expansion of the Affordable Care Act. And the federal government now, under waste, fraud, and abuse, providing health care for 900,000 Illinoisans that couldn't get it before, apparently falls under waste, fraud, and abuse on the national level. So certainly there are proposals now to roll back Medicaid assistance. Again, that would affect 900,000 individuals. Also for trauma payments, we have seen medical debt force individuals into bankruptcy. I personally have seen friends have to sell their homes and move in with relatives because of medical debt. Trauma patients, they often lose their employer provided insurance due to their injuries, and then they go on Medicaid. Now the US is now looking at cutting those types of Medicaid as well. So other things that folks need, it's insulin, asthma inhalers, life-sustaining medications are starting to be rationed because while Medicaid doesn't quite eliminate the demand for these medications, access is becoming harder to get through. So now these very important medications, life-saving medications, are being rationed with regards to it as well. And then finally, emergency rooms don't turn away uninsured patients. So the state covers them. Medicaid reimburses the hospitals with regards to this fact that they don't turn away uninsured patients. They don't sit and ask people their residency or whether they're documented or not. They're concerned with pretty much saving the person's life, because it is an individual. It is a person, regardless if they're documented or life. It's a loved one. It's a father. It's a son. It's somebody. However, with the cutback that we're seeing with regards to the Medicaid reimbursements, and unfortunately, we have already seen hospitals close in low-income areas. Certainly could see longer wait times, potentially higher costs for those of us that have insurance. So it's really concerning from the state level that the definition of waste is turning into Medicaid and those kinds of programs that really help so many people so much. One of the things that's also coming from the national level that's concerning Illinois is Illinois farm workers. Believe it or not, so undocumented immigrants make up 16% of America's food supply chain. Um, with the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimating that 42% of farm workers lack legal status for whatever reason, one reason or another. Maybe they're going through the immigration status, maybe they overstayed their work visa and they're still here. So we're going to see potentially a significant increase in costs nationwide due to mass deportations. Certainly, it's not just cities like Chicago, but across Illinois, rural farming communities need workers, critical workforce. So our agriculture is already struggling with labor shortages. I mean, we've seen a 7% decline in farms between 2017 to 2022. So certainly, it's going to be an interesting scenario. Other states have done things similar to that, and I saw a documentary on the food situation a few years ago, and it is a industry that relies on um, individuals that are here that want to work that may or may not be documented, and working with that industry to get individuals through the citizenship program. And the citizenship program is very expensive, very cumbersome, and very difficult. So instead of mass deportations, I've always said we need to better define a path to citizenship, which apparently is not happening. So with mass deportations and people that are celebrating them, because there are, just let you know that you're going to be paying, you know, more money for agriculture projects. And then Illinois is home to several Illinois federal workers, not several. We have approximately 81,000 federal employees in Illinois. We're about the second largest, federal government is the state's second largest employer. And talking about these federal employees getting buyout letters. Well, there was a judge that said the buyout letters are not enforceable because the buyout letters allow pay up to September, and the executive branch only has authorization up till March. So they certainly are questionable whether these letters are uh, applicable or not. You have Elon Musk generating them, doesn't know much about government, so can't pay people past September if you'd only have authorizations till March. So certainly it's a difficult time. Don't waive any legal rights, and certainly seek guidance with regards to any of these proposals that are coming through Elon Musk's department. So it certainly is a trying time. Individuals email me quite a bit, and but stand fast and make sure your constitutional rights are not being exploited. So, and then lastly, certainly not least, but a small aspect is the president has directed the U.S. Treasury to stop minting new pennies because that is under waste, fraud, and abuse. So the U.S. has minted pennies, which literally costs us more than 2 cents. It is very wasteful. The president wrote on Truth Social. So he has directed the Treasury Department to stop minting new pennies, citing the rising cost of producing 1 cent coin. Certainly, a lot of people would understand that. They'd never discussed elimination of the penny during the campaign, but apparently, and I'm not saying this one way or another, but apparently, U.S. Mint reported losing $85.3 million in 2024 fiscal year that ended in September on nearly 3.2 billion pennies it produced. Every penny costs nearly 3 cents, up from almost 4 cents, up from 3 cents a year ago. Now, let's keep this in mind. I just want to put this in mind. Every time you can save money is fine. $85 million. The state of Illinois has a roughly a $50 billion budget with a B. And the federal government has a trillions and trillions of dollars. So 85 million is a good thing to look at. Very small when you look at the grand scheme of things, but still something to look at. And I think we're going to put that out on our next email. How do you feel about the penny? The Mint also loses money with the nickel, to be quite honest. So each of the 5 cents coins cost nearly 14 cents to make. So of course it's the production. So we're not really sure if the president does have the power to unilaterally eliminate any of our currency. Notably, that is passed by Congress, including the size and the metal content. If you recall, Congress redesigned the dollar bills. When you look at it, and there's a professor at Northeastern University, economics professor, talked about it. The process of discontinuing the penny in the U.S. is a little unclear, he says, Professor Trust. It would likely require an act of Congress, but the Secretary of the Treasury might be able to simply stop minting new pennies. So there's a little bit of a gray area there. Members of Congress has pointed to legislation. It's a zinc coin with a copper plating. Proposals over the years have attempted to temporarily suspend the penny's production, eliminate it from circulation, or require that prices be rounded to the nearest 5 cents. Proponents of eliminating the coin have cited cost savings, which makes sense, speedier checkouts at cash registers, and the fact that a number of countries have already eliminated their 1 cent coins. Canada, for instance, stopped minting its penny in 2012. It wouldn't be the first time the U.S. eliminated the least valuable coin. The half cent, half a penny, was discontinued by Congress in 1887. So it's certainly not, it certainly is something worthy of debate. The question is whether the presidential level can cause the penny to stop being minted, or is it on the congressional level? We do have a checks and balances, and this is something that certainly needs to be looked at. But it has happened. The half penny was discontinued by Congress in 1857. There could be an avenue to discontinue the penny, but that is an official act of Congress. But again, there is gray area. They could just stop making them. So if you have pennies, certainly put them in a penny jar and save them away, because they might be gone. They might go the route of the half penny and never to be seen from again. So certainly I wanted to leave you with that little bit of information, just so that you are aware. And I actually adore pennies. Part of my childhood, because I am that old, is my father did have a big cauldron of pennies, and on the weekend we'd put down a big sheet and sort out the pennies and roll them, and that was fun in my childhood. Today, children have more electronic means of fun than just sorting out pennies and looking at the dates and the letters along with the dates on when they were minted. So wrapping up, I hope you have a great week ahead. I hope you eat a lot of oatmeal today and wear your flannel while you're doing it. Visit the Chicago Auto Show and watch the Westminster Dog Show. Save all your pennies in a jar, and certainly realize that the federal government does more than just a checks and balance. They settle election disputes and a lot of other things. So certainly let me know your thoughts. My office is here available. If situations on the federal level get stressful, you can always reach out to my office. We can try our best to help mitigate things. If you just want to stop in the office, have a cup of coffee, there it is available for you as well. You can follow us again on Facebook, IL District 84, so you can learn things that yesterday was pizza day and all sorts of updates going on in Springfield that will be starting up, ramping up next week. So again, IL District 84 on social media, and then I will be back next Monday. So have a wonderful week ahead. And certainly stay warm and, you know, just enjoy the sun. So take care, everybody. Have a great one. Bye.